God. This whole time I thought we were recording.
Well, luckily we were just doing our regular chit chat. It wasn't like we
I
hadn't
know, but
gotten into the show.
you
Oh,
said some funny stuff about your boobs. I was gonna keep that in, but I guess that's gonna remain a secret.
now they'll never know.
Naomi's boob
Welcome to
secrets.
TBR Lowdown, where my boobs are a secret.
Anyway,
Oh
yeah,
my
I
gosh.
suck at my job, which was hitting a button. Oh, how are you, friend?
I'm really excited for the day. Because we're gonna see Sinners, and I'm so psyched. And we're gonna see it on like a huge IMAX screen. I'm so excited. So excited.
That will be fun.
Yeah. So, and you've had a very exciting vacation week, so it's been some good times.
I've had a good vacation week and trying to figure out like what to do this weekend that's like kind of chill, but also, like a good way to round out like a good vacation. And maybe like
Oh
we can go
yeah.
for a small hike or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that would be a nice way to round out the vacation.
that
But
would
we
be.
started the vacation with me coming to see you, which what we're gonna talk about today. But before we do that,
Yeah.
what have you been reading?
Well, I recently started this book called Valley So Low: One Lawyer's Fight for Justice in the Wake of America's Great Coal Catastrophe by Jared Sullivan. And thank you, Knopf, for this book.
Hmm.
I just started it, so I'll just read the inside. Um, it says, for more than 50 years, a power plant in the small town of Kingston, Tennessee, burned 14,000 tons of coal a day, gradually
Mhm.
creating a mountain of ashen waste 60 feet high and covering 84 acres, contained only by an earthen embankment. In 2008, just before Christmas, the embankment broke, unleashing a lethal wave of coal sludge that covered 300 acres, damaged nearly 30 homes, and precipitated a cleanup effort that would cost more than $1 billion and the lives of more than 50 cleanup workers who inhaled the toxins it released. So I'm just in the beginning where this man hears this weird sound and he's in bed sleeping, and the sound wakes him up, and he's trying to figure out what it was, and he's looking around, and he goes in the backyard, and all that sludge is like come down, and it's all in his backyard. And he goes out to tell his neighbor slash friend, and they're like rushing over to see like what has actually happened. I love a good environmental like history story. Most of the things I've never heard of before, so I'm looking forward to getting into what happened in this situation. So thank you again, Kana, for this. This is my type of read. Also, as always, like I'm prepared to be pissed off, right? I'm prepared to be pissed off with how they treat people and how they try to ignore things or lie about things. Like I'm prepared for all of that, right? Because I
Mhm.
know it's going to be terrible in every way.
Mhm.
But I am always glad when books like this are written so that we're made aware of things like this that have happened so that we can pay attention to what's going on now and in the future so that these things don't continue to repeat themselves.
Unfortunately, they will keep repeating themselves because we don't even have regulators anymore. But
Well,
that's
that's
a different
another
topic.
story. What about you?
Hi, Alfie boy. Sorry, Alfie boy came to say hi to me. He's just such a sweet boy. He's my little boy. Anyway, um, I'm a boy dog mom.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I love them all, but the girls together, the girls are a lot. I think if we're not getting a fourth one, unless somehow I have a total midlife crisis. But if I was
Okay.
to have a fourth one, it couldn't be a girl. I don't think I could do three girls. Two girls is a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do three girls. Like if I didn't have Alfie and had another girl, it's too much. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's cute that we both have nonfictions. So
Oh.
I started She Wolves. by Helen Castor. This is about the women who ruled England before Queen Elizabeth the
Oh,
first.
hello.
So it's definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right in the beginning. I'm still on Matilda, but it's just interesting that you have this lineage of women that I think we kind of forget about because Elizabeth the First is kind of so iconic.
Yeah.
Um, and she definitely rules in a different way than all the other women before her. But they do exist. And then I just kind of I've been cringing at Matilda because she gets
Mm.
married off to somebody at like 11, and it's like a marriage by proxy. Okay, we just marrying off 11-year-olds. I get that times
Oh,
are different, but like
I know.
11
I
seems
know.
really young. Like 11
Yeah.
seems really
Like no
young.
matter the time period, it's like that's young.
If you said like 14, 15, still really young,
Maybe.
but I guess maybe I get it.
Yeah.
11,
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah.
That's really, really young. So I don't, it's interesting. It's just like a nice little nonfiction for me to read. I've had it around on my shelves for a little bit. I think we thrifted this together, actually. I feel like we found this
That's
together.
a lovely cover too.
It is. It's a good cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like Helen Castor as a historian. So she I've seen her in a lot of different like shows and stuff like that. So she does a lot of medieval England stuff.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy her as a historian. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. Nothing too
I love it.
crazy.
I love it. Yeah. Just just pretty low key.
No natural disasters, nothing like
Yeah.
that. It's just some
You know,
mystery.
hey,
Just
whatever.
some child brides. It's
It's
fine.
just a little bit, a little something, something.
Oh
Oh
God.
wow. Mm.
Who allowed me to
Well,
have a microphone? Anyway.
I know.
Hello. It's a good thing they don't give out licenses for these things.
Oh man. Maybe there'd be a
uh,
lot less. Well, let me not even go there. Anyway,
no, there would be a
so
lot less of us. You know how
oh
this would go. It would
yeah.
not be the other way around.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So yeah.
But
Okay. Mhm.
yeah. So
Well, would you like to
hello.
tell the people what we're gonna be chit-chatting about today?
We just thought it would be nice to kind of recap the weekend we spent together last
Yeah.
weekend. I don't know what weekend it is when we post this, but
Yeah.
I Naomi and I see each other in person like once a year, and we do a epic thrifting weekend. And this year was had a lot of highs and some
Yes.
lows. It
Yes.
was a roller coaster.
Yes.
Um, I of emotions. I
Yes.
I we learned some lessons about
Oh, we
Easter.
did learn some lessons about Easter.
And,
Oh man.
um, yeah, we thought we'd talk about the places we went to,
Yeah.
um, and kind of shout out some of them and also like our thoughts. Yeah. So you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I shall kick it off. We usually visit some of the same bookstores every year, but I always try to include some new ones for a
Mhm.
new bookish thrifting adventure or whatever. So this year I thought we would venture out to Baltimore, Maryland. So I live in Northern
Mhm.
Virginia in Alexandria. So I thought we'd venture out to Baltimore has some really great bookstores, and I have never been to any of them because I don't ever visit Baltimore.
Mhm.
So this was quite the journey. And so we kicked off Saturday, which is when we always start our book shopping extravaganza. We kicked off Saturday with going to this indie bookstore called Red Emma's, and they call themselves
Mhm.
a radical bookstore. And they're
Mhm.
also a cafe, not really a full-on restaurant, like a cafe,
I mean, they have a
right?
full bar too. They have like a
Yeah. Oh
vegan
yeah. Yeah.
cafe,
Yeah,
a
vegan cafe. They got
bar.
a bar, and it also serves as their like event space. So it's a huge space overall. So like in the event space is the full bar and the vegan cafe, and then like on the like through the other door or entranceway is the bookstore, which is 2 levels. It's a really great space.
But they also had community stuff too. So they had like a
Yeah,
community fridge for people that, don't have food to eat. Like people can
yeah,
donate food. You can grab stuff from the fridge. They had clothes and
yep,
condoms and toiletries,
yep,
and it was just like a really great place for community. and
Yeah.
bringing people together, and
And then
all mixed
downstairs
up
was
with
some
books.
like school they have.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a wonderful place. Red
Yeah, I think
Emma's.
that is the best new find of the
Oh
year
yes.
for us, because
Oh
I
yeah.
we really started off with a winner with
We
Red Emma's.
did. We really,
Yeah,
really did. Yeah,
yeah,
we had a great time. The curation of the books was perfection. Really
yeah.
perfection.
They had a lot of interesting stuff, like some things you see all the time, but it's definitely got a generally more political sort of bent to
Yes.
it. So your nonfiction is very interesting. Your literary fiction was very interesting as well. There were
Mm-hmm.
some things I've never seen before. A lot of stuff that we both read already. It was like well curated to us, I think, in a lot of
Yes.
ways.
Yes.
But their nonfiction options were really interesting. I think that
Fantastic.
that was what was sort of fresh and different from most bookstores for me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't kind of like the same old stuff, and I really
Exactly.
enjoyed that.
Exactly.
And we did pick up, I think, did you get any nonfiction from them? I mean, I know
I
we both picked up The People's History.
Yeah.
Um,
I look
but
a good thing I took pictures because I would not remember what I purchased from there because, who can remember all of that. We both got People's History of the United States,
mhm.
and I got Propaganda.
Oh,
I
that's right.
got
You got that one.
Yeah, and so the one of the owners had told us that we had just missed the conversation with the author they had I think the week prior.
Hmm.
So Propaganda is how police and the media manipulate our news. And then I got a comic called Lady Killer, and a book called Dark Motherland, and I got a book called This Book is a Knife, and I bought a collection of poems from one of the owners, and a
Oh,
t-shirt and a tote bag.
yes, the tote bag is good.
Yeah.
I could probably grab that. We're not going to go through every book we bought because that's going to be a lot, but I just
Right. That
think
was just
that
for this place because just to see the variety. And I'm wearing their 20th anniversary shirt. So if you're watching, you can see the shirt. And unless it's going to hold up the tote bag that we both purchased, but it's fantastic. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, so I didn't realize you got the knife book. I thought you had that on pre-order, so you didn't get there, but that's
Right.
cool. I picked up
I
some
canceled the
really
pre-order, by the way.
good.
Yeah.
I picked up a random book by a Spanish author that Jesus had never heard of, and it sounded wild, so we just
Hmm.
got it because I was like, "What is this book?"
Yeah.
And then we both got. Well, I got for both of us the doll, NYRB, big chunky compared
Mm-hmm.
to Chekhov, something that he would really like. But then, in addition to getting the people's history, I found this No Modernism Without Lesbians book by
Mm.
Diana Sohami. Sorry, I'm trying to like read her last name. But this is about these four women who really formed like the modernist movement. Were really there for the birth of it in Paris. And so you have the lady who started Shakespeare and Co. in Paris. You have where are their stupid names? Why can't I find it? Okay, so you have Sylvia Beach, who's the one who started Shakespeare and Co. You have Gertrude Stein, you have Natalia Barney, and Bryher. So I'm very interested. I do love my modernists, and I just
Yeah.
really want to. I thought it was like a really interesting addition to that like
Mm-hmm.
journey of understanding for me. So yeah, interesting. And I haven't seen it around, so
Yeah.
I've never even heard of this. So
Yeah.
this was fun. So I think that's what I liked, is that I had a lot of stuff that like I've never heard of. Um,
Exactly.
or that I don't
Exactly.
see everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really a good time. And it looked like I had a really nice selection of like coffee table books
Oh
and
yes. I
like
wanted so many of them, Alyssa. So many of them.
cookbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Cookbooks too.
Yeah. It was just a
Yeah, that
really
was
nice space. Yeah.
yeah, we had lunch there too. It was just really a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just gonna like we could gush about them for a while.
We really could. We really could. I'm hoping to get back there for some of their talks. It's not exactly close to me.
Mm-mm.
But if there's an event happening on a weekend or on a Thursday evening where the next day is my Friday off, I can certainly try to make it. But I was very impressed by that store.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mhm.
I think they have some of their older talks on their YouTube channel, he said.
Yeah, I
So
watched
we
one.
can we can definitely try to like link to that channel, or I will try to link to that channel because that's my job.
Yeah.
In the description and see if I remember.
And it will also be in the show notes.
Naomi's much
Mm-hmm.
better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the way we kicked things off. And then we went around the corner to, I never remember the name of this place, Normals.
Normals, books and records.
And like that was, I think if you really like records, that
Oh
place looked like
yes.
a fantastic place to go thrifting for some records.
Yes.
But as I said to Naomi, no, I cannot get into records. I have nowhere to put a record player. Do not get me a new obsession. And so I
Mm-hmm.
tried to
Mm-hmm.
quickly go through the record room.
Yeah. It was very, very tempting to just
It
grab, like,
was.
I don't know, 10 albums. Like, it was so tempting.
It was. It was very
And they
tempting.
were getting ready to celebrate their 35th
Something
anniversary.
like a lot of 30 plus years of being
Yeah.
in business, which I think is
Yeah.
just, I mean, what a remarkable feat in this day and age to have a used bookstore that stays in business that long.
For decades, right?
Yeah.
Because Red Emma's has
Yeah.
been around for over 20 years. They're knocking on
Mm-hmm.
35. Like that, come on, that's amazing. Look, we want to continue to support those stores so they remain in business. And I
Yeah.
think so that one was good because I found 3 books in there, one by an author I have been wanting to read, and then there were 2 other books that have been on my list to find for quite some time. So I feel like I really made out there. And those 2 guys that were in there checking us out were really nice, and so
They were
that
really
was
nice. I feel like I mostly found stuff for Jesus in there. Like
yeah.
they had a nice, like, actually they had a really pretty decent like history section if
Mm-hmm.
you were into like World War II history. That at least seemed very good. I found some fun gems for Jesus in there. So
Yeah,
I did, that was, they did like an interesting selection, I will say that.
they did
They were a little on the pricier side
a
for
little
used
bit.
bookstores, but it wasn't unreasonable, but it was a
Yeah,
little on the pricier side.
a little bit.
No like 50-cent books.
Right, exactly, exactly. Like I think one of my books was like $6, and I was like, "Whoo, whoo!"
I know. God, we're so cheap.
we are, we are. But I looked at because one of the books I got was Salt Roads by Nala Hopkinson, and that was first edition hardcover. So I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, that's
nice.
nice." Yeah, yeah.
M-
So, and I think my Edward White is also a signed first edition, which I didn't realize until I opened up and it said in there like signed. I was like, oh, so sometimes you luck up.
You do luck out. Like
Yeah,
you do well. You know, it's interesting the things you could find. I don't remember what I got there, so specifically other than the books for Jesus. I think I only got a couple things there, but mostly I got books for Jesus.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was like a really like traditional used bookstore. That was like dusty, musty,
Oh
creaky
yeah,
floored.
real
Yeah,
dusty musty baby, real dusty musty.
but I do love that. I do love that whole
Yes,
experience. And the guys were really
yes,
nice. Sometimes you
they
go into those
were
places and they're like kind of nasty.
right.
There's a place, you know, that place that I send you sometimes when I go when it's in Nyack, that like the books are like
Yeah,
stacked on top of each other and like about to
yes,
fall on you. And
yeah,
there's like a portion of it where the bookcases have collapsed. Yeah. Um, he can sometimes be kind of nasty.
yeah, oh, yeah.
He's
I
never
don't
been
know.
nasty to me, but I followed the directions. The directions are in this hoarder's cavern. Do not pull books for the middle of the pile because it will fall on you. You
Follow the
gotta
instructions, and he won't be
go down from
nasty.
the top. But yeah, that's not part of our
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, so that was great. And like again, like it was just like a couple blocks over. So we just walked from Red Emma's over to Normals and checked them out. We
Mhm.
didn't have time. We saw there was a farmer's market over there, but we didn't have time to get into it. But like it was packed, so that must have been like a really good
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
that's definitely on the list. Because I think it's safe to assume that whenever Alyssa comes back, we will always go to Red Emma's.
I am sorry. I really loved Red Emma's and I
You
loved like
know?
their whole, like they are a employee-owned business, like, I
Yeah,
think it's great. Like, there's definitely a place to support, and,
absolutely.
um, yeah, very much really enjoyed that. But then we left that part of Baltimore and went to, like, the Inner Harbor. That's what it's called, right? Inner Harbor.
Yeah, like close to the Inner Harbor part. Yeah.
Yeah, and we went
And
to the mermaid one. What was the mermaid one
yeah, it's
called?
called Book Escape. And I was so interested to see like these like smaller spaces, how they like pack all the books in. I'm always amazed at how they like how they figure out how to do that. Um, so yeah, we
I
went to Book
liked
Escape.
what I liked about them, talking about packing it in, was that
Yeah,
they actually were fairly alphabetized. And when
yeah.
you see, like, how small the space was, I mean, there were
Hmm.
literally, like, gaps between bookcases, and there were books in the gap,
And
like,
the
stacked on top of each other. Like, and somebody must just be in there, like, fiddling with them all the time to make sure that they
yes,
stay mostly in alphabetical order, because it was
hmm,
remarkable how
it was
well organized it is. Even though when you looked at it, it was kind of, that higgledy-piggledy haphazard
right.
thing, you know?
Exactly. It was great though. I really liked it. I found 4 books in there. One book that I have been looking for like at least 3 years. I was almost on the verge of ordering it online. I was like, I'm never going to find this book in person. And then, like, it's the first book I saw when I walked in there. So, like, just a great selection of used books. That guy was
Yeah.
kind of cool too. He was very quiet,
He was very quiet.
but
Yeah.
nice. And then what did he have? Was an old record player or something going? I love like old record players.
Yeah, he did. It was a nice place. I'm glad that, because we couldn't do everything we wanted to do in Baltimore because, time. But
Time.
I'm glad that we picked that one. That one sounded good. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that we did it. And I called it the mermaid place because in the very back there's a little, like, little closet almost. And they
Mm-hmm.
have this beautiful mermaid mural. Like,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. And neither one of us took a picture of it, like idiots.
I
Um,
know. Dumb.
but it was
What were we
beautiful.
thinking?
I don't know. We weren't thinking.
And
Uh,
their tote bag has a little mermaid on it too, because I got a tote bag
mhm,
as well.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, that was a really nice find.
Yeah,
Probably should go back there too as well.
I
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
But the best place was for the day are, well, we needed to get to two other places in Maryland that weren't in
yeah.
Baltimore. So that's kind of what the time constraint was, because there's two really great finds from last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we started with whatever that Friends of the Library, whatever library,
Yeah.
bookstore, and we did well there.
Yeah. So Friends of the Library, Montgomery County, which is we went there for the first time in 2024. And I mean we really went gangbusters in there last year.
Oh, last year
Like
I
it was bananas.
bananas last year, yeah.
Yeah, like I swear to goodness, maybe we had been in there 20 minutes. We both had a cart filled up. It was
Mhm.
crazy. It was crazy.
Mhm.
So went back there and I found some things I was very happy with. Um that's just a great place to go.
It is a
It's
good
a great
place,
place to
and, like,
go.
it's reasonably priced. I do like a library adjacent used
Yeah.
bookstore. I feel like they usually have the best pricing,
Yep.
um, and you can find some interesting things. You can find a lot of the same old stuff, but you can find some interesting things. Like, I found
Mhm.
some Elizabeth Jane Howards that I was looking for, because we realized that a lot of what Alyssa's looking for is, like, mid-century British lady authors, and they're not prevalent in, the US. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
used bookstores. But I mean, I have done quite well. I did find another Barbara Pym there, and
Mhm.
that I don't already own. So I have pretty much amassed most of the Pyms I need at this point. Um, and yeah, we had a good time. I did
We
break
really
a book
did.
there. I did break a
Yeah,
book
that was
there.
funny. She broke a book, which ended up leading her to another book that was right in front of her that she was looking for and she did not see.
Yeah, I was picking up the broken book. Like, it was like a old paperback that somebody must have creased in the same spot, like, a lot,
Yeah, a
because
thousand
it
times.
fell
Yeah.
out of my, like, basket, and as soon as it hit the floor, it cracked in half, and I was like, "Oh my god, it killed
Right.
itself."
Right. For you in service of another book.
I know,
Yeah,
but then I found that Pim, and I was like, "You little hussy, what have you been
exactly.
hiding over here for?"
Exactly, exactly. And then you threw in Geek Love in my basket, so now I have
Mhm,
that to read. And
mhm.
I got a handful of books, but a handful of those books, two of those were by Elizabeth Moon, and you know that I have fallen in love with her
You got
from reading
a
her
lot of moon.
series last year.
You found a lot of moon this time.
I did. I was so happy and so surprised.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was a real
Woo.
find. So then from the Friends of the Library, Montgomery County, we went to another favorite, which we went to for the first time in 2024, and that is Second Story Books in Rockville, Maryland. They also have a DC location, but we've never been to that one. We've only gone to the Rockville one. And going in there is always just such a joy. That
Dusty,
is,
musty, books
oh,
to the
so
ceiling, and
dusty.
I mean, it's in a
Right?
warehouse, so the ceiling, you
Yes.
require the big ladder on wheels.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep. It is
So,
great.
it
I smell fried chicken. What is happening?
I don't are you
They're
having
grilling. They're doing something over
it's
there.
like
Anyway,
menopause? Is
no, I
it a
smell food.
menopause?
Also, I'm getting hungry. But um Alyssa was like you can feel it. She was just like dying to get back to Second Story.
Well, I always had so much panic because I asked her going in, I was like, into Baltimore, I was like, "What time does stuff close?" And she's like,
Right.
5." And I'm like, it's we're arriving at like noon. And like, I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh my God, are we gonna
Like,
get
are
to
we gonna make it?
everything? Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna make it?" And then we realized that like they close Second Story actually closes at like 7 or 8. So like we had
Yeah.
lots of time actually.
Yeah.
But like I was panicking a bit, but we're good. We were good. We were good. And then I panicked because I spent too much money there, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's totally okay. She really treated herself at
I
Second
treated
Story.
myself. I treated myself to two different first US editions of
Yeah.
Virginia Woolf's. I got the Years, which was the pricey one, and I got a writer's diary, which is sort of the edited down diaries of Virginia Woolf. And that one wasn't as nice, but I did get it for half off. But I'm really they're in the corner over there,
Yeah.
away from my dog that eats things, and I'm very happy. I wish I had known at the time that they have a signed UK first edition of A Room of One's Own, so I could have at least held something that Virginia
Mm.
Woolf held. Um, but I didn't, and also that
Yeah.
thing is $9,000. So,
Well, there's that.
but yeah, no, they have like actual like they are like legit booksellers. Like they have
Yes.
a whole collector's room. I've been poking around on their website at some of the other first
Mhm.
edition wolves they have, just to see like what can I afford. And it's also a really great place. I've gotten a lot of like biography and criticism, like literary criticism books from them in the last 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
So a
because I
lot
got
of the
some last
books,
year. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the things that I'm dipping into for like the Wharton reading with Wharton, my year with Wharton, are coming from like straight out of Second Story.
Yeah.
Uh so it's great for that. And I found almost all of my Pims there
Mhm.
or on Pango. Those are the two places I found like the largest chunk of Pims.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny because like
Mhm.
why? But they really do have quite an interesting selection of
They
books.
really do. They really do.
Yeah.
Second Story is where I found basically all of my Anita Brookners. So Anita Brookner is an author that I want to get into, and I
Mhm.
started buying her books last year. And we went to Second Story last year. I think I got 6 Brookner books, maybe 7
Mhm.
from there. And then this year I found 5 more Anita Brookner books
Mhm.
out of there, and another Elizabeth Moon. So that was, over the moon about that. And I read this book called The Displacements a few years ago. I had it from the
Mhm.
library and I loved it. And they had a copy. So now I finally have a copy of that. And then I got Motherless Brooklyn. It was actually an arc of Motherless Brooklyn. I wanted to
I
read
don't
that for
think I
some time.
realized what you bought because I was like, you
Oh,
just
honey, you were
stand.
in the zone. You hear me? You were
I
in the.
blacked out. He
Yeah.
was like, your total is, and I said, shut up, don't tell me. And I
Yeah.
tapped my card, and I literally was like, and he's like, are you okay? Like, aren't you happy? I was like, I don't know how to process what I just did. Like, what did I just do? Like, what is
Yeah.
wrong with me in this economy? Like, I was just like,
Right. Right. Yeah. She was not well. She was not well for like the car drive
hours.
back into the city. She she was she was not, even when we got to, so we left Second Story, and then we went back to my side of town, Alexandria, Virginia, and went into Old Town to have dinner. And that's when she started to come out of her haze of what she had done. We had a great dinner, had ice cream after, and it was just a lovely day. But
We
it
did
took
have ice
her
cream.
it took her a while. I think she probably went home still like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus kept trying to explain to me that like it's fine. Like you have a good job. You make
Right.
money.
Exactly. And it's okay to
You're
treat
not living
yourself.
paycheck to paycheck. You're allowed to have
Right.
joy. I was like, but it's so
Right.
expensive.
Exactly. So it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get into Sunday, which started off great. And then sad things happened. So Sunday,
I'm still upset about this. I just want
I'm
you to
upset
know.
about it too. Especially considering what happened yesterday.
Yes.
So Sunday we go to the the Portrait Museum in DC to see the James Baldwin exhibit, and that was really phenomenal. What was the name of it? Let me get the full name. I think I took a picture so I can get the do you know the full name? Where is it at?
Shenanigans are starting. Hold on.
The dogs are like, hang on a minute. So it was like Baldwin and like a queer revolution kind of exhibit. And okay. It's okay. The exhibit was called This Morning, This Evening, So Soon, James Baldwin and the Voices of Queer Resistance. That is the title of the exhibit. And it's a small exhibit, but I thought it was really well curated and really beautiful. So we checked
It
that
was a
out.
good exhibit.
It was. It
I
was.
feel like they could have done more with it though. I feel
Of
like, but
course,
I
you could
feel
always
like
do more.
that's how I felt about a lot of the National Portrait Gallery. So
Yeah.
like I saw
Mute your mic. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I hate when I do that.
I know.
So I feel like they can always do more. And but that's how like I told you, that's how I felt about like a lot of the portrait gallery. It felt
Yeah.
very sparse.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of space, and I guess that's nice. I don't know. But like I went to the Sargent exhibit at the Met this week and twice, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much between just like the regular exhibits that are on at the Met, and then like when they do these big exhibits. And I was thinking back at other exhibits that I've seen there. They really are large, and I mean, I don't think that their endowments must not be very different. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Smithsonian, but like,
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe they are. I don't know. But I just felt like you're dealing with just think about all the stuff you could have done just specifically with like Nina Simone. Like they
Oh
really
my
could
God,
have
right? Yeah.
created like this huge exhibit out of it, which I
Yeah.
thought was I was very grateful to see it. I'm not trying to poo-poo it. I just feel like there was so much more you could have added to it. But that just kind
Yeah.
of felt like the vibe of the National Portrait Gallery. There was
Yeah,
just
as
kind
a
of like
whole. Mm-hmm. Yep, as a whole.
so like you go to the Met and it's like sensory overload. There's so much stuff and like you could go there 1,000
Right.
times and never I mean eventually you probably would see everything. But like, you can go
Yeah.
there a bunch of times and find a new thing every time or like end up in a new room and like every wall space is kind of like
Yeah.
crammed with stuff.
Just
And
cover
it
it.
just
Just cover wall to
was a
wall,
different
literally.
way of doing stuff. So I was kind of hoping for more of that kind of vibe than the more minimalist vibe of that exhibit.
Yeah,
But it
it
was
was
really
nice
good. I
though.
liked what they
Yeah.
had there. We could have done more of his letters between him and his teacher and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. There was some really cool stuff in there.
There were.
Um, but yeah, I'm really glad we got to go see it, and we saw it on the last day too.
The
So
last day. So that was nice. And so then
disappointment struck.
we got back to my place, and then we drove to our favorite, which is McKay Used Books. And lo and behold, it's closed because it's Easter. And then the world turned black. Disappointment. Closed. Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
ask you.
This is
I
on
said,
this
"Is
is on
Easter
me.
gonna
This
be
is
a
on
problem?"
me. I did not check the website. I just looked at the Google hours, but I did not check the website. And so it was a shock to me. I was like, why are things closed on Easter? Why does that happen? So what I learned is some businesses close on Easter. And I shall
Even
not plan
Costco.
things on Easter again. Yeah, Costco was closed.
And
Costco was
Marshalls.
and Marshalls closed. So that was my learning lesson for the day. And we were very sad because
For
we
the
looked
record,
forward to McKay.
I asked.
She did. She asked. She asked.
And
Yeah.
Naomi,
Yeah.
she dropped a ball.
I dropped the ball on that. I dropped it. The ball is like it's in the dirt.
We've
In the
never had
dirt.
a strain like this in our relationship. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm really upset with you, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
start a fight with you. We
Yeah.
went to Barnes and Noble.
It was a tough time. It was a tough time. I thought counseling may be needed to get through this moment. You know, it's one of those please respect their privacy at this time.
He was like, but you have your gift card for Barnes and Noble. Let's go there. I was like,
Yeah, so we went to
okay.
Barnes and Noble because she had a gift card, you know, which is fine. You know, this is not one of my favorite places. Whatever, it's boring. But I did find two beautiful editions of Quicksand and Passing by Nella Larson.
You did get really beautiful editions of that.
Yeah,
I
because
got
I
some
have a
more.
combined paperback of the two novels
Mhm.
together. So it's nice to have two beautiful separate editions. They're gorgeous.
I got some more of the Spectres. So I think I only have one I don't own now.
Wow.
And then I got something else. I don't remember. Oh, I got the Backyard Birds book, Backyard Bird
Right.
Chronicles. Very excited about
Right.
that. Also,
Yeah.
when we went to the where is it? When we went to the National History Museum, I got some bird watching books.
Oh, and I did get some nice postcards of some of the paintings that were in there, and a magnet to put on my refrigerator.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those are
Mm-hmm.
really nice. I started writing a Substack about our weekend, so I'm gonna have all the photos, you know, jammed in there so folks will see everything. But so then to try to turn that day around, I found this used bookstore in Reston, Virginia, called Reston's Used Bookshop. And so we were like, we're driving and we get there, but we're like, but where's the store? Because
It
it
looked like
has
the
us
back of a
drive.
condominium.
We were definitely in the parking lot of a condominium. And then like unless it's like, what's that down there? That's still like where the steps are. It's this opening into something. Then we're like, well, let's just park and go see. And it was like all these like stores and restaurants and whatnot, and like a little man-made lake or whatever. And so like the Reston Used Bookshop was along the lines of those other stores. And we went in again, a very small space, just like packed to the
Dusty
brim with
musty.
books. Dusty musty. I think
Dusty
Alyssa
musty.
kind of just lost interest after a while because the way she had those books organized was weird. Like it was a section that just said good fiction.
So it just said
That's
good
what it was.
reads.
Good fiction.
Good reads.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, but I didn't make out. I found things that I did not think I would find. So I was very happy with my 5 books. But yeah, it was organized in a very strange manner. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get a couple things there?
I got a couple things there.
Yeah.
But I did start to check out. I was like, I
You totally
can't.
checked out.
I was like, this place is weird.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think I spent a lot of the time just listening to the two people that were talking.
They were having a very good conversation about this
They
book.
were having, it was good quality eavesdropping, and I was really enjoying it. Mm-hmm.
It was.
So
They had a really in-depth conversation.
and I couldn't see them, so I was like trying to imagine what they looked like, and
Yeah,
that's not what I was expecting
same.
when I met them. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so, but it was just, it was just too. I don't know. Sometimes you can just really throw me off with the way you order. I just couldn't. And
yeah.
then I found, I don't know. It didn't work for me, but I mean, they did
It
have some
worked
good
for
stuff.
me
I mean,
for a
I
while.
did find stuff,
Yeah,
um, and stuff for my list of things that I was looking for, but, like, also, I didn't
yeah.
get I think I just didn't get the categories, some of them, I was like, "Why are we trying to be cute? Like, where's
Right,
fiction?"
right. I think that like I kind of got into because I was like finding stuff, and I was like, oh, so I got excited because I was finding stuff that I didn't think I would ever see. Um, but I don't think it's a store like on a random Saturday where I was like, oh, well, let me just pop on over, to that store. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But for the
yeah.
day, it was nice. And then we went to the restaurant a few doors down and had just a lovely lamb lunch. It
We
was
had a
delicious.
lovely lamb dinner. We
It
had
was
our
really
Easter
good.
dinner.
We sure did. We sure did. It was lovely. Yeah, and so that wrapped up the weekend. We did a lot, saw a lot, and
Mhm,
a weekend was had. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So we will definitely list all the stores in the show notes. Support them if you can. It is always so fun finding new used bookstores or indie bookstores to visit because there are so
Okay.
many where I live. Like we could have visited 6 more used bookstores in Baltimore in particular. There's so many everywhere, so that's always a good time. Yeah.
Alright, but we have to talk about what happened because I don't think that McKay's wants us
Oh my
because
God.
I left my
You mean
books
yesterday?
with I left my books with Naomi, and she said, "I'm gonna go
Well,
back on Thursday."
hang on, back up a bit, just for folks who don't know. McKay has a really good trade-in system. So
Yes.
Alyssa usually brings down 2 or 3 crates of books to unhaul
Mhm.
at McKay to get a mix of cash or store credit, right? So McKay was closed. So I was like, well, just leave your books with me. I'll go back on Thursday after work. I'll do the trade-in and then I'll just mail it. I'll mail you the cash credit or both, whatever it is. Okay. Continue.
Oh, then I assemble my list. She goes to give me a list, and I was like, "This is gonna look insane," and it does. And I get a little message on Thursday. It's like, "I'm going to McKay's. How do you want your money? Boopity boo." Everything's happy.
Everything's
Then
happy.
I get another message. It's a video of Naomi showing me 2 nails and a strip of rubber stuck in her tire, and she's like, across the street from McKay's.
I'm literally like
Go.
a block away from McKay. A
And then
freaking block, guys.
I don't think they want you there.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I'm driving, minding my own good black business. And all of a sudden, it's all this debris in the road, like large pieces, medium pieces, tiny pieces. And like none of us can really swerve out of the way because there are cars everywhere. You swerve, you're going to hit
Mhm.
someone. So I do like a little teeny swerve. Well, that didn't work because the guy in front of me also did a teeny swerve, or whatever he kicked up were right underneath my tire, which was this rubber piece that had 3 nails in it, but only 2 of the 3 nails got plunged into my tire. So I pull over because it's making a crazy sound. I pull over, I take a look, I'm like, great. So now I'm trying to figure out, I got to get across the street and go in this parking lot because, cars are coming. And then I mosey on over there. And that's when I do a little video and show Alyssa, well, I'm not going to McKay today because this is what just happened. So I
Mhm.
managed to get that third screw out, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, the Lexus service center is like 11 minutes from here. And I got my tires from Lexus, so they'll replace it for free, right? I'm like, okay, let me get this third nail out and I can just like drive slowly, right? To Lexus. All right. I get on the highway, everything's going good. And I hear the sound because it's a rubber piece hitting things. And then all of a sudden, I hear no sound. The pieces obviously come out. Tire immediately flat. So now I got to pull over on the side of 66. All right. Great.
They came fairly quickly though for like
Right. I
roadside
did
assistance.
look, I opened up the Progressive app. I did my little service thing in the app, or whatever. Told guy I was there in 32 minutes. Boom, we got the Lexus in like 30 in 10 minutes. And got an oil change while I was there because I'm there, why not? And then like I'm out of there like within an hour. So that was a fun time.
I don't think McKay's wants us to come in. I think maybe there's like something happening. I don't know.
It's so weird, isn't it?
It feels on purpose.
It feels so weird. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll try again in May because I'm certainly not going to try it again this month. Maybe I'll try it on maybe my next Friday off or something like that. I don't know, but that was a time yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the full journey and adventure.
That's the full adventure. We still can't even get my books to McKay. I couldn't get my ass to McKay. The books can't get to McKay. Like, we'll see what happens.
It is a little eerie, isn't it? Just a tad bit.
I think something is happening. I don't understand.
It's so weird. So, yeah. But although you just came back down again for it, like, could it be a day trip? Could that work?
No, I can't drive 5 hours.
Fine. Okay, fine. Friends, this is just me trying to get her back here. Because we only see each other once a year in person, face to face. So
I'm not opposed to coming back down, but it's not going to be a day trip, and it's not going to be like tomorrow.
I know
because it's expensive.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna calm down. So that was our weekend. A time was had a good time. Yeah, we did things.
Books were bought.
So books were bought. Mm-hmm. Books were bought. Shout out to all of the bookstores we visited, but like just a teeny bit of an extra shout out to Red Emma's. Just a little bit. Yeah. We already love you all. And shout out to Red Emma's and Analysis. Honestly. That's who we were chatting with when we were there. Shout out to Red Emma's and Analysis.
Analysis was great.
He was fantastic. Person. He is a vibe. He's a vibe. He's a cool dude. So yeah, that's the weekend. That's the weekend.
That is the
Stay tuned for Alyssa's vlog. And my Substack wrap up, which I'm gonna try to finish when I get home. Because I want to have it out at least tonight so that if anybody wants to visit any of those stores tomorrow, they've got some info.
Yes. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So okay, is it book recommendation time?
It is book recommendation time because I think I'm gonna have to walk the dog soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to go first?
Sure.
I actually finished this on the drive to see you, so it seems like a good choice. And this is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I hate this cover, but it is what it is.
I do too, but it's fine.
I feel like I should have known that more about this book when I started it because it feels like a lot of people have read it. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a young adult sort of classic. It's a coming of age story. You're following 17-year-old Cassandra and her family who are like really quite poor. I think like they used to have a lot of money. Like the dad is a writer who doesn't really write and has been like arrested, and he's got stuff, and he's been he was like disinherited basically from the family. So they live in this like crumbling down castle. They've basically sold everything they like owned. They live with their dad and their stepmom. It's like 2 girls and a boy, and they live with their dad and their stepmom, and they have like a very interesting life. It's a little like kooky and different, but happy, like poor, but they're very happy all together. And Cassandra is our narrator. She's writing these journals. And she has a sister whose name is escaping me, but she is like quite beautiful. The castle is part of this bigger estate, and one day these boys show up from America, and they are like sort of distant relatives who have inherited the estate, and they have like a decent amount of money, and that really changes sort of the trajectory of everybody's lives. They start to kind of like grow up together, relationships are had, things get messy. It's really great. I really enjoyed it, and I liked the progression from like how their lives changed as they got money in their lives, how like they dealt with that, how the sisters dealt with some things, the romantic relationships that were had. It was just really it was really good. I really
Wow.
enjoyed this. I get why a lot of people really love this. The ending is a bit, I don't know if I'd like the ending. I would like to talk about that with some people. I would like to know how other people feel about the ending of this. It's a little abrupt, maybe even a little confusing, but
Hmm.
I really thought this was quite good. So I highly recommend. And this is part of that massive, many moons long reading project that I'm doing with my
Yeah.
friend Tony. We're reading all of the Virago modern classics. I have like a list of like 600 books.
I love
Um,
it. I love it.
I did the tally. I think I've read like 60 of them.
Okay. Not
So
that
we
far
need
to
to
go.
no, just 10% of the list down. So
Yeah.
it's we'll get there.
Yeah.
I might not even be able to find everything because here in the States, because some things are out of
Yeah.
print and stuff like that. But I'm just it's like nice to have these little projects because sometimes you're just like I don't really know what to read. It's like, oh, I'll chip away at this project, right? Like I'll go see, like I'll
Yeah.
pick up this book that's part of that and just start reading it. So that's kind of nice to have sometimes.
Yeah. I love a good reading
It's
project.
casual, it's not
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah.
kind of nice.
I feel like all my reading projects are casual because they're all on my
Mhm.
time anyway. So okay. So I recently finished A Well-Trained Wife, My Escape from Christian Patriarchy, a memoir by Tia Levings. And St. Martin's Press sent this to me last year over the summer. So this is obviously out now.
Mhm.
Uh this was something else. This hits you with all the emotions: anger, rage, sadness, confusion. I learned a lot. So Tia was brought up in a fairly religious home, always went to a religious school. Parents were somewhat religiously strict or whatever, and so obviously she's going to marry someone of the same ilk, and so she marries this man, and they are getting into the fundamentalist um, movement. And she is a very young wife. She's like early 20s and immediately starts having kids. I think she had like 3 or 4 kids. And when she is just talking about just like, God, all the things that she can't do, I just started feeling like I wanted to choke. And it was also so interesting with seeing how all of these teachings are not just confirmed and reinforced by the pastors and the husbands, but also the other wives. Like there are several instances where they were like, oh Tia, what you're wearing really isn't appropriate. Let me introduce you to like jean jumpers, and large shirts and sweaters. And so like at every turn there was someone, be it man or a fellow, wife, that was telling her how to conform, to further conform to whatever kind of system that they were in. Because as she had mentioned, as we go later into the novel, while she eventually, after years of abuse on every level, verbal, physical, after years of abuse, she finally started to ask herself, well, can I get out of this marriage? Or can I survive and sustain on my own with these children out of this marriage? What happens if my marriage breaks down? And she was like inching towards a way to escape. But there are also plenty of women who do not have that same desire. There are plenty of women who are very much comfortable in their place and in these certain systems, and they don't ever want to leave. They're perfectly fine with it. Um, and so I learned. Here's one thing I learned about. I learned about Christian domestic discipline. So it is a it is a set of beliefs and practices among some Christians who view the husband as the head of the household and the wife as submissive, with discipline including physical punishment like spanking, which he does. So she's like, so you want to spank me?
Absolutely not.
Which includes spanking used to correct behavior. It is a patriarchal approach to marriage rooted in a literal interpretation of biblical passages like Ephesians 5:22 through 24. And some of the key elements are headship and submission, discipline as a tool, emphasis on biblical text, and online communities. There was this one scene where she had just had their last baby, or maybe their third to the last baby. Anyway, she's still like recovering in the hospital, and he comes to visit, and he's like, "We got to go to church," and she's like, I just like had a human, like I can't," and he gets upset that she doesn't want to go. So of course she ends up going. So she's in church, like her boobs are leaking because hello, she just freaking gave birth. Her boobs are leaking everywhere, and she's like, we have to go because I've got to like express my breast. And he's like just so angry. So like this image of like him being in church, and she's saying that he's so clearly into whatever the pastor's talking about. He's so into this message, and at the same time being so cruel and dismissive to his wife. And when they leave, he like shoves her out of the car on the middle of the highway because he's so pissed with her. But we just came out of church to hear this good word. I mean, just like so many things in this book just made you so angry and yet so sad. And like, I guess some people would say, well, why doesn't she leave? But I never once asked that question because I got the background of how she grew up with her parents deeply involved in the church and learning all those things as a child going into teenhood and adulthood. So obviously, if you've grown up that way, your immediate thought isn't, when you start living this as a married person in your own life, your immediate thought isn't I should leave, because it feels normal because that's how you grew up. But man, what a journey this woman went on. I mean, it was really something. Highly recommend this book. And again, that is A Well-Trained Wife, My Escape from Christian Patriarchy by Tia Levings.
If Jesus tried domestic discipline on me, I would whoop his ass so fast.
Oh my gosh. She just went through so much, Alyssa. I just, oh my gosh. It was so heartbreaking.
It
was
is heartbreaking.
so heartbreaking. Oh, and then like one more thing. So all of these women in these like fundamentalist groups, so they use this website called what's it called? It was Trapdoor. So they be on Trapdoor, and like in this one scene, it's like Dev Mom, that's somebody else's username on Trapdoor. Dev Mom asked, "Has anyone tried Netflix? It was a new service where we could order film straight to our house on DVD." So like they were using Trapdoor to like find out like about things in the world that they were secluded from, they were isolated from. So like, they this is where they communed, to like find out about things. It was so interesting. But like living in that kind of isolation, how can you breathe? You know what I mean? How can you breathe? It was a lot. That book was a lot.
Well, I'm glad she's out. So
yes, she's out, doing very well.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. So, that's gonna do it for us, right? We've done our job for the day. Yeah, time to run errands. All right. Follow us everywhere at TBR Lowdown. Visit our website, tbrlowdown.com, and subscribe to the show. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and recommend this podcast to your nearest and dearest friends. How about that? Let us know where we are. Give us a listen. And that's going to do it for us. We are out of here. Bye.
Bye.